From the wreckage of the Labor Day weekend, this is your Daily Detroit, recorded on Tuesday, September 4th. I'm Sven Gustafson.
And I'm Jer Stays. Here's what to know and where to go in Detroit right after we pay some bills.
Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Milo Digital. Milo Digital is a full-service digital marketing agency that engineers quality results through data and innovative strategies. Learn more at milodetroit.com. On our show last week before the Labor Day weekend, we told you about a lockout dispute affecting members of a labor union that represents road and bridge construction workers. Now, that lockout has put a freeze on dozens of road construction projects all across Michigan. The Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association represents road building contractor firms, and they called the lockout. They've been in a dispute with Operating Engineers Local 324 ever since a 5-year contract expired in June. According to reports, the union has been unhappy with MITA over its insistence that contractors don't have to pay union-level benefits to non-union subcontractors. So they've been trying to negotiate directly with the contractors represented by the association. The stoppage has affected major road repair projects, including the I-75 River Rouge Bridge, I-696 reconstruction, and some bridge reconstruction projects on I-96. It's not known how long the work stoppages will last.
Students started the first day of classes today in the Detroit Public Schools Community District with water coolers and bottled water in lieu of drinking fountains. Superintendent Nikolai Vitti ordered drinking water shut off across the district last week after testing found elevated levels of lead or copper in 16 of 24 school buildings, and after 18 were given bottled water after an earlier round of testing. Vitti's decision made national headlines, but he says it was the right call to avoid distractions and safeguard students and staff. Separately, Chalkbeat Detroit reports that Vitti on Friday sent a cease and desist letter to the head of University Prep threatening to sue him and the nonprofit charter school network if he didn't back off claims made in a robocall to parents. University Prep head Mark Ornstein contrasted what he said was elevated levels of lead in all Detroit public school buildings with the safe drinking water found at University Prep buildings.
One of the city's must-see pieces of street art has come down, along with the abandoned and badly blighted building it was on. The African Amalgamation of Ubiquity was painted in 1985 by Curtis Lewis on an old bank building at 9980 Gratiot, just west of the Better Made potato chip plant. It was the former home of the neighborhood nonprofit Operation Get Down, which moved across the street to a new location some time ago. While demolition signs reportedly abound in the neighborhood, the city says it had no hand in demolishing the building. City spokeswoman Tiffany Crawford tells Daily Detroit that the demolition wasn't pursuant to any legal action from the city and appears to have been a private demolition done by the building's owner. According to Loveland Technologies, the building was owned by a man with a Bloomfield Hills address who could not be reached for comment. The mural had fallen into significant disrepair in recent years. In its heyday, it attracted national acclaim, including being named one of the best murals that depicted civil rights hero Martin Luther King Jr. It also highlighted a variety of other African American leaders throughout history, all the way back to Egypt. There's no word on what will be going in the demolished bank building's place, if anything. Outside of the immediate downtown, where investment money is harder to come by, the city is continuing its program of demolishing vacant structures it deems dangerous. The building itself was once an excellent example of Art Deco architecture.
Anti-Semitic flyers were found taped to a church door on Sunday morning. The Ferndale First United Methodist Church on Woodward found the flyers that include caricatures of Jewish men. The flyer says that Jews are coming for your free speech. It also promotes the alt-right websites InfoWars and Daily Stormer. The flyers, pictures of which were posted to social media, include the line that says the flyers are, quote, brought to you by your local Stormer book club, unquote. The Daily Stormer is an anti-Semitic website that has been banned from a series of at least 15 online domains. Apparently, flyers were also found at Arts, Beats, and Eats in Royal Oak over the weekend and have been posted in other places around town. Ferndale police have released a video of the man on their YouTube channel with hopes of talking to him about his, quote, non-threatening but disturbing flyers, unquote, and to give him a trespass warning. Nationally, anti-Semitic incidents have doubled since 2015, according to the Anti-Defamation League.
Campbell Soup plans to sell off Ferndale-based Garden Fresh Gourmet as part of a broader turnaround plan that sees it getting rid of its fresh food divisions. Campbell Soup purchased the makers of salsa, chips, and hummus in 2015 from founder Jack and Annette Aronson for $231 million. Aronson tells Cranes they sold it to Campbell rather than other interested suitors because of promises the company made to keep the business operating in Ferndale along with its 450 employees. The couple also reportedly gave employees millions of dollars in bonuses after the deal was finalized. The Aronsons have since launched an incubator and food processing innovation center in Taylor. Jack Aronson says he'd consider re-engaging with the business in order to keep it in Ferndale. Campbell wants to complete any sale by next July.
Detroit is losing one of its most beloved bike shops. Motorless City Bicycle Company says it plans to permanently close its doors at the end of September after 4 seasons in business in Eastern Market. The store was closely involved with Slow Roll and announced the news on Facebook, saying the team had decided it was time to move on to new endeavors. Motorless City sells bike products, full bicycles, repairs, and has a custom fabrication shop to build custom bikes. All the store's products will be offered at a discount for a quick sale, and the shop says it's reaching out to all customers who brought their bikes in for repairs to come pick them up. In the meantime, it plans to hold its annual Pedal Fabulous Bike Fashion Show on September 20th, as planned, as a big send-off party. And I have to give a personal shout-out here. I own a Motorless City bicycle. I have been very happy with it, and I'm sorry to see them go.
Indeed. A bike-sharing and ride-sharing service have teamed up in Detroit for a 6-month pilot program to help connect users of the two systems. The program means discounts for Mogo bike-sharing users when picked up or dropped off at bike share stations by ride-sharing company Lyft. If you buy a Mogo Daily Pass, you get a $5 discount code for one Lyft ride to or from any Mogo station, valid for 1 week. Monthly or annual pass holders receive a $5 discount code for up to 5 Lyft rides to or from any Mogo station, valid for 1 month. Mogo has 43 stations across the center of the city with expansion plans into some Detroit neighborhoods and, as we've previously reported here, into the suburbs.
2 quick bits of Aretha Franklin news for you. New York City's Transit Authority has relabeled 2 subway stations in honor of the Queen of Soul. Both the Franklin Street and Franklin Avenue stations have signage in the classic subway Helvetica font saying respect, along with the station name. Gothamist reports that after Franklin died, artist-made, unsanctioned tributes popped up at Franklin stations in Manhattan and Brooklyn. The idea for the official tribute came from one of the street artists, Leroy McCarthy. Back here in Detroit, the Detroit City Council has unanimously approved a resolution we mentioned to you last week to rename Chene Park. It will now be called Aretha Louise Franklin Amphitheater. The name change is expected to be in place for the start of the 2019-2020 season.
Jared, did you catch any of the Aretha Franklin funeral on Friday?
I did. There was a large window to catch it because it was a very long funeral.
It went for more than 8 hours, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And, you know, they went right by UDHQ over here with the procession at 7 in Livernois. It was quite the sight to see, I'm told.
Well, so I was out running my children to and from events that night, and I live at 8 Mile and Woodward, just about a half mile up from Woodlawn Cemetery where she was entombed. And I didn't realize what was going on, but there were helicopters flying overhead. The police had blocked off the intersection at 8 Mile and Woodward. It was crazy. And I finally realized it was the Queen of Soul.
I think we were both locked into our neighborhoods, me to the south and you to the north.
If you've ever driven through that crazy 3-way intersection of Trumbull, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and Grand River, and I will vouch it's a terrible intersection, best avoided, you can't miss the giant mural of a giraffe welcoming people to the Woodbridge neighborhood. Now, the mural I do like, just for the record. The mural by Carl Oxley III has been up for 12 years. It needs some maintenance after more than a decade. Summer in the City, a nonprofit focused on community service in Detroit, is holding a big painting event on Friday, September 14th, to help spruce it up. So stop by after work on Friday. It starts at 5 p.m. and runs till about 7 p.m. Then they'll be heading out for a drink. A suggested donation of $20 will help cover the paint and the beer. You can find out more over at summerinthecity.com. And that's all for today's show, friends. I'm Sven Gustafson. Thank you so much for listening to the Daily Detroit Podcast.
And I'm Jer Stays. If you like the show, be sure to tell a friend. Take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.